Hey, I thought I'd talk about some hot topics going on right now with pretty much anybody who does this, or at least semi-seriously. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of people have been not outright quitting, just like greatly reducing how much content they produce on here. The ad revenue's gotten really bad. Apparently, like all the people who play Call of Duty are panicking right now because apparently YouTube is going to flag all those videos as offensive or sensitive material. It really has opened my eyes to maybe I am luckier in this field than I feel like I am. I often struggle with the just the frustration and the depression that comes from feeling like I put a lot of effort into this on a daily basis, and I barely even make $80 a month. It's a lot of work. Sometimes what you guys don't see is the anxiety when I talk, the anxiety when I make the guides and stuff like that, all the work that goes to the guides, and sometimes it feels kind of pointless or fruitless, I guess is a better word, because of just how much work it takes. And it just seems like people aren't really interested in seeing it. But now I've been feeling a little better about it because, like, honestly, the stuff that I do, it doesn't really have that problem. I do have some games like Rainblood Chronicles Mirage. You might remember I covered that a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that game. But it was very buggy. It was a very buggy game, and now the people who I don't know if they got bought out or something, but whoever owns that property now has been copyright claiming everything, even if it's just a video with raw footage with the music. It's all been getting claimed. So it's like I don't have that happen too much, and I do swear a lot when I'm on stream. I do swear like a sailor, but for the most part, I keep my language when I record. I keep it pretty clean because I know that some younger people do watch my videos and stuff like that. I just wanted to tell people, I'm gonna do some leveling here while I talk. I just wanted to tell people that if you watch someone and they're talking about their Patreon or PayPal, they're asking for donations, I can assure you that they don't want to do it. I've told this story before, but I almost didn't get a Patreon at all. My parents, more specifically my mom, brought it up to me a couple years ago, and I do suffer from depression. I do deal with self-loathing and stuff like that, so I thought that my mind was telling me no one's gonna want to support me making these stupid videos and stuff like that. You guys luckily proved me wrong, and I've been able to afford a lot of really cool stuff thanks to you guys. But a lot of it is just swallowing your pride to do stuff like that in the first place. And unfortunately, it's kind of just getting to the point where a lot of people are relying on Patreon more for their revenue, which I think is a good thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing that ad revenue is it's so unreliable, but at the same time, you can do stuff on Patreon, do stuff for Patreon, and get funded on Patreon and make money that way. I can't play while I'm talking. At least not on this game. So I tried my capture card, and that thing is still cursed. You saw the little test that I put up. I haven't been able to get it to work since. So it looks like I will be doing a fundraiser to get that new capture card. I have already determined which one I'm going to get. It's just a matter of getting the funds for it. So if you guys have any ideas for how you'd like that to be structured, you can go ahead and let me know. I have actually checked my ad revenue, and it definitely has gone down, but not to a point where I particularly notice or care. I'm kind of I'm lucky in that field because I don't really generate that much to begin with, but people who are making a living off it right now are like panicking. And it seems like a lot of it happened when the whole PewDiePie thing happened, where he, said some inappropriate things, and a lot of the advertisers backed out at that time. A lot of people defended it, and they thought that, you know, maybe people get a little too offended over things, but kind of ended up being the opposite. Now you have these advertisers that don't want to attach themselves to anything even remotely that could be remotely considered offensive because of all that stuff that happened. And it makes sense because you know, you have the biggest channels on the site saying stuff like that. It's obviously going to influence a lot of people. And I've seen people make some good money on Patreon. I wish this game had freaking controller support. I hate how it doesn't. That's why I can't play this game while I'm talking. It's too hard for me to focus on playing on the keyboard. So what I wanted to ask people is what would influence them to help me on Patreon, because I do have things I need to buy. The next couple things I'd like to buy is probably just the capture card for now. Actually, there aren't really any major releases coming out that I'm terribly interested in. I was kind of interested in Dragon Quest Heroes 2, but I'm gonna wait until that's on a lower price. Somehow managed to finish that. I'm not much of a keyboard and mouse gamer. I don't really play anything on keyboard and mouse. I only do it on this game because I think it's got such solid gameplay. And I'm pretty sure when this is in English that someone will make a better expatter profile for it. Speaking of which, since this is going to be uploaded ahead of my backlog, the English Kritika closed beta is going to be starting on the 24th. You can either sign up for free or you can use the founder pack, which I think it's $15 minimum. Whether you want to do that is up to you. I hear that they're going to wipe the closed beta. So if you have played this on another version or you just want to try the game, you can try the Southeast Asia version, which is what I'm playing right now. The translation is honestly like the worst I've seen in anything for like several years, but you can get the taste of the gameplay. If you like it there, then you can sign up. I believe you get a 2-day early access for the open beta, which is obviously when they're not going to be wiping. So I'm not sure if I'm going to pay for that. I'm kind of on the fence about it. But I just wanted to make this video so that people understand why so many YouTubers are panicking right now. Like I'm lucky that you know, I do have a backup outside of the channel that's not Patreon, which is my disability and stuff like that allows me to live. But a lot of people who do this for a living are like freaking out right now, and rightfully so. I find it interesting that all it takes for advertisers to back out is a couple people saying some inappropriate stuff. Like, you know, people haven't always been posting sensitive material on here. So I'm going to level up to 25 and check out these new moves. That'll be the end of this video. I don't want to play this much more because I'm probably going to be playing the American version. You can tell. This is why I play this game with no mic. I can't play it while talking because my mind just does not compute not being able to use a controller. I'm not really an expert at this game anyway. I've only ever gotten to level 43. Level cap is 70 now, so there's a lot I haven't experienced. I can't really educate people on this game anyway, so I just play it for fun. I think it is an interesting game to watch because of, I don't know, the art style is pretty appealing for a low-budget game, and, you know, the combat is fast-paced and everything. What I'm hoping that will happen is that they will add controller support when they release the English version. I hope that they will. I've heard that it puts you at a pretty great disadvantage, but I'm just at the point where I don't care. I hate forced keyboard and mouse controls. Never cared for it in anything. A lot of people are saying this version is going to be pretty much dead in the water soon. I could definitely see that. It seems like they're in a state of desperation, so to speak. Like this update, as in other versions, it was basically put out all at once. On this one, they've spread it out across, I think, over a month now. Actually, yeah, it will be over a month. I don't think the Galaxy Lord, the second monk subclass, comes out until June. So they're like stretching out the update. It feels like they're trying to get people to play. The problem with that is that the patcher for this does not work. The patcher that they have on the site does not even work. Like it doesn't patch the game. So you think that that would be a priority if you're trying to get more people to play so that you don't have to shut down the game, but it doesn't seem like they're even doing that. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it is nice to be able to check out the changes and stuff like that. Alright, so I got 25, so I'm going to go check out these new moves. Yeah, I feel like things are changing on this site, and maybe it's going to be a good thing in the long run. I think people are going to see a lot more Patreon pages, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of naysayers, but I can tell you from experience that ad revenue has always been a very unreliable source of income, even if you're at the top. Like, I know right now a lot of the big channels are seeing like massive decreases in their revenue. It's something that people don't want to promote. I assure you that no one wants to promote it, but at the same time, it's pretty much the only reliable way to do this. So I hope people will be more understanding. I've always been, I don't know, just very scared of ever asking for help. But you know, people have proved me wrong that, you know, maybe I make better content than my mind lets on. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think a lot of people are just going to outright quit. I know the Call of Duty community is like in a state of turmoil right now because they don't know if their you know, their channels are going to be able to survive pretty much. One of the hardest things to do when you do a gaming channel is stepping out of your niche. If you're known for like one game or one game franchise, like even getting someone to even consider watching anything else you put up is like it's easier said than done. Now I'm lucky, I have a pretty good audience. People seem to be interested in the indie stuff that I do for the most part. Obviously it's not gonna you know, bring in as many views as something like a guide for Dynasty Warriors or something like that will always generate more exposure and viewership. But at the same time, you know, people seem to like being educated about, you know, other stylish action games that don't get as much, you know, press and stuff like that. So I'm lucky in that regard, but you have people that are known for like Call of Duty and esports and Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that that may not even be able to really cover that stuff anymore because of the all the sponsors backing out. That rider kick is so satisfying. So what I'm gonna do, this video is gonna be over about a minute or two. I'm gonna go ahead and post a link to the Kritika site. You can sign up if you're interested. If you're on the fence about buying the Founders Pack, like I said, they're going to be wiping the closed beta, so I'm not really sure how worth it is to play. They give you, I think for the lowest Founder Pack, you get $20 worth of the Cash Shop credit. So if you like the game and you want to support them with money, you want to use the Cash Shop, then that's probably actually a really good deal. I hear that the avatar that they have in that deal, like the most expensive Founders Pack, is like a rip-off. Like, it's not even that good, so I wouldn't get that. But for the base pack, I think $20 is $15 for $20 in credit, and then the early access is actually not that bad of a deal at all. I haven't been playing DFO or PSO2 very much, so I'm probably going to buy that Founders Pack. It does kind of come out around the time that I'm going to be leaving for a vacation. I still would like to play it. That was a clean fight. Maybe I'm getting better at commentating this game, but it's probably just a fluke. But yeah, if you see me promoting my Patreon more importantly, you see other people doing it, I assure you they're not, you know, doing it to just be a sellout. It's more that the revenue has dropped drastically for a lot of people, and it depends from person to person depending on what they cover. Obviously, the next, you know, Call of Duty game is World War II for the 500th time, so that's a very sensitive issue for, or sensitive subject for a lot of people. So people are scared that, you know, they're not going to be able to make any funds off it or any revenue off it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, it does not really affect me in any way, but I feel like this will be a problem more and more as you know, things progress. So I just wanted to open people's eyes about how things have been. For me, I actually had my best performing month in a long time last month because I did all those Tokiden guides and stuff like that. So I'm honestly not really fretting this too much, and I thank you guys for supporting me on Patreon. It's definitely been a great boon for me. A lot of the smaller games that I cover is all thanks to you guys. You guys have really supported me a lot over the past couple years with the Patreon. You may think that, you know, $50 a month is not much, and maybe to some people it isn't, but for me it's covered a lot. You know, my XSplit subscriptions, a lot of the smaller games, you know, like Red Obsidian Remnants, some of those other games that I cover that, you know, maybe they don't bring in a lot of revenue, or maybe I don't play them for a long time, or they have problems that really prevent me from wanting to really dive into them. But at the same time, you know, I can educate people, and you know, sometimes people just want you know, quote-unquote filler games, you know, games that, you know, you're not going to dump like 500 hours into, but at the same time they're you know, a lower priced kind of snack food game that you can just play for a while and indulge in until you get your next big release. That's what I like to do, especially right now. There really isn't anything on the horizon that I know of that I'm going to be covering anytime soon, so playing smaller stuff like this is nice. You know, sometimes people will comment and say that they like when I do these games because it helps them to, you know, kind of get through some boring times in their gaming schedule and stuff like that. That's why I like to do them. I don't really expect tens of thousands of views for doing stuff like this. It's just kind of fun to share it. The only time that I ever really quote-unquote serious on this channel is when I'm doing the guides, and you guys don't see most of that anyway. The hours of grinding that it takes to make those guides and learn the game and get to the point where I can actually educate people is honestly, it's the hardest part of doing this, especially with my my mental illness and stuff like that. But it really helps when people just comment and say that they appreciate my stuff or it's helped them through the game and stuff like that. That's why I keep doing this. I mean, honestly, I could quit today and it really wouldn't affect my life that much. It definitely would be harder to afford new games. I'd say probably like over half of what I cover on the channel is thanks to you guys through the Patreon, and to a lesser extent the ad revenue, which is not really a direct direct response from you guys, but it does really help me. So I'm gonna go ahead and post the Patreon in the description, as well as the Kritika site. You can sign up, you can be on a wait list, and you can get in for free, but I'm not sure what the response to this game has been. Apparently a lot of people have been disliking or thumbs downing their videos because of some problems on Terra. Terra apparently is optimized like garbage. I tried that game back when they added the martial artist like a year or two ago, and I thought it was actually pretty cool, but it ran terribly on my computer, and I thought that it was just, back then I did not have the same video card that I have now. I did not have as good of a processor as I do now, so I thought maybe it was just my computer. It turns out people with monster rigs can't run that game. So apparently some people they modified the files to make it run better, and apparently the company just straight up banned those people. I'm not sure if that was the right way to go about it. I guess it does bring up the issue of an unfair advantage. People who don't use those files are stuck with the crappy performance. But they're getting a lot of flack for localizing this, even though it has nothing to do with the game. It seems like it's just Terra players upset with the way that stuff has been handled, even though I'm pretty sure those people don't understand that, the people who publish these games don't make them. It's like it's up to the developer to optimize their game. The publisher can't really do much. All they can really do is maybe throw some money and ask them to optimize it, but at the end of the day, they're just as useless. Their hands are tied as much as ours are. So I'm not sure how much of a demand they're getting for this, but you can sign up for free. If you do pay for the $15 thing, then you get guaranteed access, and you get the early access. But like I said, they're going to be wiping. So if you want to try out the game, not to downplay the fact that the game is going to be in English, because this version is probably going to shut down by the end of the year at the rate things are going. You can go ahead and you can try the Southeast Asia version. You will have to go on the Discord to get the patch. I'll try to find that link and I'll post that in the description as well. You can play it for free and try it out. Just don't spend any money on this version. If you're going to spend any money on this game at all, definitely get the unmasked version. I hear that they're a pretty good publisher. It seems like a lot of the complaints they're getting are honestly they're illogical because they don't make the game. It's the same thing like if Nexon, like DFO has been poorly optimized for a long time. Honestly, it's less of an issue with that game because DFO runs on you didn't even need a video card to run DFO. You can play that game on a crappy laptop with integrated video. It's honestly it's not much of a problem except in certain situations. But honestly, Nexon America, even if they hadn't ran that game into the ground with poor management, they could not really do anything about the the optimization to begin with. That's all in the Korean branch, Neopal, the ones that develop the games. So don't let the dislikes on those videos, the trailers and stuff that they're doing, don't let those discourage you from playing. The game is very fun. The only problem I really have with it is just that it does not have controller support, but I'm pretty sure if the game takes off, someone will make a really good expatter profile for it. If not, maybe I'll figure out and learn how to do one myself, and I'll share it with you guys. Definitely give the game a shot, whether you try it on here or you just wait for the open beta, which is going to be on the 24th. I believe it will be going until mid-June. Then at that point, the people who pay for the Founders Pack will get a 2-day open beta, I guess, head start, and then it will be open for everybody. At that point, you can play to your heart's content because they won't be wiping. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about all these issues that have been going on. I'm kind of lucky that it doesn't really affect me that much, but a lot of people are really anxious right now, and I could use some help with the capture card. So I'm gonna go ahead and post a link to my Patreon, and then maybe I'll try to figure out some way to get that funded. Maybe if not this month, then next month. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace.